On Saturday, December the 28th, 2024, 25-year-old Garett Ryan Pitts of Waynesboro, Mississippi, went with some of his friends to John's Bar, which is located in nearby Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Now, John's Bar is located along Highway 49, just north of the city of Hattiesburg. And around 2 a.m. the following morning, so Sunday, December the 29th, Garett would lose his life after he ended up in Highway 49 and struck by someone passing by. Now, I know your first thought is probably that he was intoxicated and didn't realize he was stumbling into the highway, but in fact, that is not at all what happened. So I'm going to tell you the story of what happened that evening according to sources and witnesses who were there on scene that night. And that evening, Garett and some of his friends decided they are going to go to John's Bar. And according to sources, this was Garett's first time to ever visit John's Bar. And as you can see in these photos, John's Bar is just an old country place that looks very run down. It has this big dirt parking lot. So Garett and his friends get there. They're inside enjoying themselves, and at some point during the evening, a fight breaks out that Garett and his friends are involved in. Now, I do not know who started the fight. I do not know if Garett and his friends were involved because they were defending themselves or if they started this altercation. Those details I do not have. Nonetheless, they end up in a physical altercation with others inside of that bar, and they are told to leave. It's reported to me by sources that two individuals who kind of work as unofficial bouncers there at John's Bar were escorting Garett to his vehicle. Now, Garett's vehicle was actually parked only about 20 feet from Highway 49. I've seen comments that have said, how did he end up in the highway? Because that's a big parking lot, and his vehicle had to have been 60 or more feet from the parking lot. Well, according to sources, John's Bar was very, very busy on the night of December the 28th, and there were tons of cars in the parking lot. And so Garett's truck was actually only about 20 feet from the highway. After the altercation was over with and Garett and his friends had exited that bar, Garett has his keys in his hand, getting ready to leave in his vehicle as instructed to do. Someone, now it is alleged that it was the owner of the bar, John, but I cannot confirm those details. Someone came out with some sort of mace or pepper spray, or some have reported that it could have allegedly been bear spray. And according to sources, now these are allegations, and I want to stress that, targeted Garett and sprayed Garett along with his friends with this spray, which immediately blinded Garett. And unfortunately, Garett ended up stumbling into the highway, into the path of someone driving on Highway 49. And he was immediately struck by this vehicle. One individual there on scene immediately started life-saving measures, doing CPR. Another individual jumped out of their vehicle to join in and assist in those life-saving measures. But according to one of those individuals, there was not really anything that could be done. The impact was so strong and so hard that Garett was killed on impact. In fact, the driver of the vehicle who struck Garett, their vehicle was actually totaled when this collision happened. So you can imagine the impact. Not sure what the speed limit is right there in that area or what the speed was that the driver was driving. It's also reported that there was a female with Garett and his friends who was exiting the bar at the same time, and that she was sprayed as well and actually ended up having to go to the emergency room due to the effects of inhaling the substance that they were sprayed with. I try a lot of times not to give opinions in stories that I cover, but in the first video that I posted over on TikTok, a lot of people were saying he was in a fight. The owner had every right to spray him with pepper spray. But again, I want to stress the fact that Garett was asked to leave, and he was attempting to do that. He was outside when he sprayed. He was not inside the bar. It's also been reported by some people that they have heard that a weapon was involved, but according to my sources, multiple sources, no weapon was involved. There was no weapon ever found, no weapon involved. And so now law enforcement is investigating the death of Garett Pitts to see if any charges might be brought based on the fact that he was complying. He was trying to leave. He had his keys in his hand to leave as he was asked to do. They are also investigating whether or not bear spray was used, or was this just mace or pepper spray. Now, I've noticed that Garett's family has hired an attorney, and I'm going to put a post up right here that the attorney left asking for anyone who was there that night that might have photos or a video of any of the events of that evening to please email those things to the email right here on the screen. If you have any information that you are uncomfortable sharing with law enforcement or sharing with the attorney's office and you would like to send me a message with that information, please feel free to do so. So I'm going to be following this story. I will bring updates as they become available. If you are not following me or not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button if you are seeing this on TikTok, so that you will get updates when I post new content.